Hey, Scott.
Hey, Rebecca.
How are you today?
I am pretty good.
Are you?
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you could compete in a Winter Olympic sport, what would you compete in?
Oh, gosh. Winter Olympic sport. It's not the one where you shoot and ski, the
That looks
biathlon.
freaking miserable.
Yes, I can't.
Who signs up for that?
I don't know. When we go skiing, because we usually have a ski holiday every winter, that's the worst thing to me is having to go up the hill and trudge up that hill.
No.
There is no way.
You've got this wrong. The
Well,
worst part about the shoot and ski is not the skiing or the shooting.
yeah,
It's getting up off the ground in those skis after you've shot.
because they lay down and do
I
their
could totally
target.
shoot. That would actually be the easiest portion. Getting back up, that would add an extra 30 seconds to my time, maybe a minute. Because I'd have to pop my skis off. Like who can stand up with their skis on
I don't
on
know.
a flat ground?
It's like they trained for it or something.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, when you have the mountain, at least you have some leverage, but
Yeah.
not when you're just laying there flat and no other competitors are going to come over and offer you a hand.
You always think practically, and you are always concerned about getting up from something.
Because it's a lot to get up.
That's why you don't slide in softball. Like
I get
anything
back
that
up.
you have to be on the ground,
Here's
it's
why.
done.
And most women my age are probably going to understand this. You have to think about these things. When you get on the ground, there's nothing, not eloquent. There's nothing, what is
Graceful?
Graceful
Yeah.
about getting yourself up off the ground when your knees hurt and your body hurts and you're 50 pounds heavier than you want to be. You have to, okay, if nobody was watching, every woman in that situation would roll over to all fours and work their way up.
Right.
But most
What's
people,
wrong with that?
you look ridiculous.
Okay,
You
so
look-
how do you want to get up? What's the perfect way to get up?
when was the last time I could sit like crisscross applesauce and then just stand up from that?
Oh.
Well, I don't think I could ever do that, but maybe, I don't really know. Yeah, there's no graceful way. That's why you have to get to something you can hold on to and you just grin and bear it where you act like you're getting up and nothing's hurting. And
Yeah.
this is just so natural, right? And then you're sore the next day just from getting up.
And do you do that mental where you're checking everything to make sure it's all still there in working order?
I just make sure my
checklist.
pants are on straight by the time I get up, my shirt, like everything. I'm not really checking my body. I'm checking to make sure everything's still covered, like I hope it is.
I think this is really an anxiety for you because even when we're watching Olympics, you're like, how do they get up?
Yeah, I know. It's terrifying.
Or any sport we watch, like you get hit in football and you're like, how do they get up from that?
Yeah, I would come up swinging if somebody hit me like that in football. I would be so irritated.
So you asked me what sport I would try.
Yes.
And I think I love watching the speed skating. I don't know if
yeah.
I'd be any good at it, but it looks like the most fun, like just the rush of the speed around the track, especially the short track.
All right.
It's pretty cool. I don't want to do the long distance.
Okay.
Yeah. So what would you do?
I think I would do the half pipe snowboard.
Oh yeah, that's.
I mean, if
cool
I got
too.
to pick anything, I'd be terrible at it. But I mean, if I was picking and I was like feasibly going to be good at any of these things, I would say half pipe snowboard. I think it's really cool.
And you just can't fall very often.
No,
They don't fall very often. I don't know how they do it, but they don't fall.
they don't. But when they do, they get to slide down the half pipe, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So today we have a gold medal Olympian. And in the middle of this podcast, you're going to hear us gasp. And if you are listening to this and not watching this on YouTube, you're gonna need to probably go watch it on YouTube because we get to peep the gold medal.
She totally picked it up and put it in the camera. She has it with her at all times.
Yes. So we interviewed today ASHLEY CALDWELL. She won the gold and mixed doubles aerials with her boyfriend and another guy named Chris. I mean, What a fascinating interview. You want to know what happened in China and Beijing. You want to know about the Olympic Village and the food they may or may not like.
She's been to 4 Olympics, so she gives us the dish on what's the best food that she's had in Olympics. And it's going to be surprising.
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah. So without further ado, you want to hear this interview with ASHLEY Caldwell. All right. So when you were 5 years old, Ashley, you had wrote down some goals in life. So can you tell us what you wrote down and what was that about?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. You know, when you're like first learning to write, there's those pieces of paper that like have you draw a picture up top and then you write the little things about what you want to do, or well, whatever on the bottom when you're first learning. And one of the assignments we had was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I have this like poorly spelled out goal of I want to be an Olympian and a garbage truck lady. Which is pretty hysterical.
In your mind, how did those go together?
I just thought riding on the back of a car would be really cool.
Yeah.
And I was a gymnast, so I wanted to do gymnastics at a high level. But my mom still has that piece of paper. I need to like take a picture of it and like post it somewhere because it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So are you still trying to reach the other goal?
If the world, I'm pretty into environmental causes. So if the world needs me to do that, I would love to.
It's next on your list.
Yeah.
Okay. So you also trained as a gymnast, right? How long did you do that for? 11 years?
Yeah. A long time, since the age of 3 to 14.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A long time.
And so how did that like influence you in aerials? How do you decide one day you're going to flip through the air and do crazy things?
I don't know. It's a very interesting life choice for sure for anyone. But I'd been, I was getting too tall for gymnastics. I had been doing gymnastics for that long. And I think my parents both had, taught me how to ski and loved me doing gymnastics, but they knew that I was kind of maxing out my ability level in gymnastics. And I think they wanted me to try something new. Parents have to go to all those competitions and trainings as well. And I think they're like, okay, Matt, we've done enough gymnastics. But yeah,
those were long days too, those gymnastics events.
Yeah, those gymnastics meets, and especially when you're younger and all the floor music's all the same. And I think parents go crazy.
Yeah.
You can see the glaze over their eyes.
Yeah, they're like, wow, I really need a drink to watch this gymnastics. But we were watching the 2006 Olympics and we saw freestyle skiing. My parents had seen it before, but like it was the first time that I was old enough to kind of realize what it was because I was 12. And my mom was like, yeah, you'd be good at that. Like you love skiing and you love gymnastics. Like you should go do that. And I thought she was nuts. And signed me up for a summer camp about a year and a half later. And I took to it and I loved it and was at the Olympics, from watching it on the couch to competing. And
they have a summer camp on freestyle skiing?
Yeah. Like a lot of the younger kids go to freestyle camps in the summertime. Either they're jumping into a pool or you go to you hunt for snow. So you go up to like a glacier or you go to South America or something. So I actually went to Whistler Blackcomb in Canada and it was actually a moguls camp. So I wasn't fit for moguls. So they were like, no, you should go do aerials. And then that's kind of how I got like filtered into the right place.
Our son works at Keystone and Steamboat. He works up there and during the winter and does all that skiing, and Whistler's like bucket list for him. He wants to go there so bad to ski.
Yeah. There's less and less snow other places in the world. So you might have to go there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there wasn't much in Colorado when we went in December.
We went in December and it was slim pickings.
Yeah, everything was manufactured.
Yeah, it's still pretty bad out there, and we're actually, we're here for a competition, and it's been raining. So.
Oh wow! Wow.
No.
Where are you from? Like, where did you grow up?
Virginia.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I moved to upstate New York to Lake Placid when I was 14, and then I moved out to Park City when I was 18.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Kept getting closer and closer to more mountains.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so we talked about the gymnastic training, and now how does that compare with? I don't even understand the thought process of I'm going to throw myself 60 feet in the air. I'm going to twist around and do things. I would just be like, I'm going to die. So
Sometimes I feel like I'm gonna die. Yes.
yeah. So it's like you talk about like you jump into pools and all that, but how do you even train to do this? I mean, I don't
Yeah,
even, I can't
it's
imagine.
it's always a progression. So you start off, you do one backflip, and for a lot of us, we're either gymnastics or you can do a backflip on the trampoline or something. So like you jump into a pool. Obviously, well, sorry, that was probably the preliminary thing, but we have facilities around the country where you can jump into a pool with your skis on. And so, you go off the ramp a couple of times and then you try and do a backflip. And for most of us, a backflip is not like super crazy because we already know how to flip. But and then you start with one and you add a twist, and then you add another flip and you add twists, and you just keep adding until all of a sudden you're doing more than you can count.
Yeah.
But
So with all the twists and stuff, how do you not get dizzy? I can just imagine.
Oh, I'd be a dizzy mess.
Yeah.
You have to work on that?
No, we never really get dizzy because of like how we're looking at the ground and just like how the flips work. We have something where we call getting lost. It's not necessarily dizzy. It's just that like you mixed up where you were in the air. Kind of similar to like what gymnastics call the twisties, but we call it just getting lost. It's a little bit different. But yeah, it's pretty scary, but you're not dizzy necessarily.
Yeah.
It's just you're confused.
Lost where
you can't find where the ground is, kind of.
Yeah, you don't know where you are in relationship to the ground. Like if you're facing backwards or forwards, or you're upside down, or you're right side up.
And that's what happened to Simone Biles, right? Is she?
I think it's like a similar thing. Your brain can't figure it out. Like, and sometimes it can happen in a couple of tricks in a row, and then you get really nervous because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna be able to do this again.
Yeah. Then you wish you could find a pool to practice on for a couple times before you.
Yeah, exactly. Even the pool. So when I was like first starting, like maybe first or second, like maybe my second or third year that I was doing them, I was doing a double flip with one twist, and I did like 30 in a row where I landed backwards on my face, and I just like my brain like couldn't figure out what I was exactly doing, and it took a long time for me to figure it out. Like,
wow. Yeah.
What's the worst injury you've had?
I was just about to ask that.
I know people love talking about
Injury
people getting hurt. So I've torn both of my ACLs.
Oh, gosh.
Those actually, when I look back on, look like a breeze. I tore my AC joint, or like the ligaments in my AC joint, right after the last Olympics, and that one was really hard because it ruined my chances of the Olympics, and then it was also just the most physically uncomfortable injury.
Yeah.
I have a really cool scar, like that, like runs right here. So like I wear my tank tops, and there's like a scar right next to it. And I feel really tough. But that one was just like, emotionally and physically challenging. And then I've had some other injuries that were difficult too, like ankle stuff, or I hurt my neck really bad, and I actually thought I might not ever do aerials again, but here I am.
No concussions?
I've had my fair share of concussions. That's a really sensitive topic, especially in my sport. But I feel like I've had some less concussions than a lot of people. But that's definitely a part of our sport, and we have a lot of doctors that are dedicated to our mental health.
Yeah, right. Ooh.
Yeah, we have a football player, so
we're familiar with the C word, is what we call it.
It's just one of those things that it's really tough because it's scary, but also if people don't talk about it, then kids won't. There's definitely younger athletes that I've heard be like, I'm lying about my concussion status. I'm like, whoa, don't do that.
We've had that when Jake was playing high school. We knew of kids that were not telling their coaches that they were having symptoms, and we're like, you've got to go tell them. This is more important later on than you playing.
There definitely has to be some sort of protocols to make sure that kids don't do that. And also like a sense of, hey, if you miss a game or a competition because of this, you're not, like, your status on the team isn't going to be affected. And that's just not necessarily the case, even at lower levels and at higher levels.
That's right. There's consequences. There's consequences.
Okay, so we're talking about aerials. You're 60 feet in the air. You've done something that no other woman has done, and that's the daddy. So explain to us what the daddy is.
Yeah, so there actually have been other women that have tried it. And
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's landed it successfully.
Successfully.
Successfully. So it's a triple backflip with 4 twists. And the 4 twists are, there's 1 in the first flip, 2 in the second flip, and then 1 in the last flip. So
Wow.
it's also called a full, double full is like the technical name of it.
Yeah.
But the name, the daddy, came because kind of like it's the daddy of all tricks. Like,
Yeah.
when, like, if you're a man in the sport, you're like not like considered like not like good enough, but like you're like finally like have status in the sport if you've done this trick. And it's the dad. It's kind of like you've made it, like you're good, where like you're in the high
You got
level.
some street cred at that point.
Yeah, and also like it was a trick that, like, I mean, girls have been doing triple twisting triples for over a decade, but very few girls have even thought about doing 4 twists. And so I think it also had this like masculine, like, oh, this is if you're a guy, this is the status you've gotten to. I mean, actually nowadays that's like the basic low level, because the guys have, pushed even further. But that's kind of where that name came from.
Wow. That's so crazy. I can't imagine why you get lost in the air. I mean, honestly.
I don't get lost anymore, really. I mean, it's very, very seldom that happens. I mean, I've just been doing it for so long. I mean, I think I could close my eyes and probably still do some of the tricks that I do, but
goodness,
just crazy.
Gracious.
Oh my.
What are your, this is a little off topic. What do your parents think? Like, are your parents like, go get them, girl? Or is your mom like nervous? Like,
my parents have gone through like all the stages of parent.
Yeah.
Like my dad, they were super excited when I first started. And then my mom actually started watching, and then she was like, oh, I don't want you to do this anymore. This was a bad call. I can't believe I supported this. Then they're like, oh, you love it so much. You've had success. This is incredible.
Right.
Then I go through the injuries, and they're like, don't do this anymore. And so they ride the roller coaster too. Now I'm at the point in my career where I'm like, maybe I should go have babies. And my mom's like, yes, go do that.
Please go do that.
Yes. I'm riding the same emotional roller coaster as your mom. Like, through this whole conversation, I'm like, whoa, what?
Yeah. So they're really proud of me. But I think they're like, oh, we're proud of you for what you've done. You don't need to do anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. You've done the daddy.
Yeah. But I love the sport. And so it's like, people have been asking me how much more I'm going to do. And it's like, I just can't say I'm done. Like, I don't want to be done, but I know there's like other things I want to do. And as long as my body keeps up, I probably will continue doing it. But taking it one jump at a time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you've participated in 4 Olympics. Can very many people say that? I mean, is that?
I don't think so.
I don't think a lot of people can say that. So what is it like to walk? First of all, what's it like to walk in the stadium with your team in the opening ceremonies? And do you have a favorite of the opening ceremonies you've been a part of?
Yeah, the opening ceremonies is incredible because, like, a lot of athletes, you're training for the games, and that's like your biggest goal, and it's all about you, and it's how I'm gonna make it. It's what I'm gonna do. It's my competition. All these things, and everyone talks like before my first Olympics. Like, I was 16. And everyone's like, oh, like, you're representing Team USA. You're representing Team USA. You're representing your family. You're representing your sponsors. You're representing like yourself and your coaches and whatever. And like, you say that, but it's all like, it's my competition. Like, you're like selfish. And then you walk into opening and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm representing Team USA. this is not about, like, yes, it's about me, but I've like reached this level and I am amongst the best in the world. I'm walking in with all these different countries and all these different sports of people who, have gone through so much to get there and are the best in their field. And then that's when it like first hit me. I was like, wow, this is way, way bigger than anything and I was 16. So obviously mental status was different than it is now. But every Olympics that I've walked in I've walked in all 4 opening ceremonies, and you always get that overwhelming rush. Yeah. Even like when I knew it was coming, and like now that I'm older, I understand a little bit more of the bigger picture. But yeah, there's a huge rush of like, wow, this is like really cool to be a part of.
I bet that's a big high. And any favorite ceremony? Like anyone that you were like, maybe
I just think the first one probably, they kind of all like blend together because
Yeah.
like they're like similar. You walk and you feel all
Yeah.
this like emotion. But the first one hit me the hardest.
Yeah.
And this last one was really cool too, because I got to walk in with my boyfriend, which was really cool. And just this one had a lot of emotion because of COVID. There was so much stress and anxiety of just getting to the games that like there was a lot of relief. Like, oh my gosh, we made it finally. This was so intense, and the world's just been going through a lot. And so it felt nice to like have something to celebrate.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's so true.
So watching the coverage, it seemed like you said, this Olympics was different. So how was it different in like the Olympic Village, and how was the experience different with COVID and all that going on?
Yeah. Typically in the last games, like you can go watch other events. You can, go hang out with other athletes from different countries and different sports. And this games, you could not do any of that. You could go to a couple events, like if they were near your event, but it was so cold outside today. A lot of times people didn't even want to do that anyways. But, you were scared of other athletes. I mean, to put it bluntly,
you don't want to test positive. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you test positive and you could not even feel sick, and then all of a sudden your whole life's work is out the window in one test, and so that fear made you scared of everyone. So it was like, stay away from me. I don't want to like talk to you, all that stuff. So I think that kind of was unfortunate, because the Olympics is such a cool way to meet other people and show how the world can be brought together through sport. So that was sad. I feel fortunate that I already hadn't got to experience that. And then some of the athletes that it was their first games were not able to experience that. And cheering on fellow Team USA athletes in like different disciplines that we don't necessarily get the chance to go see.
Yeah.
But, the venues that we had were incredible. The volunteers were very nice, and the food wasn't very good, but we made it through that. And I mean, I think I feel very like proud that I was able to bring home a medal and, get through it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of relief coming home from the games.
Yeah, I bet so.
Okay. You made me think of the question. What's the best food you've had at Olympics?
Ooh.
I think Vancouver had the best food for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. They had like sushi and like good Asian food, and I think Vancouver had the best Asian food.
Oh.
There you go. Now we know.
Yeah. Okay. You won your first gold in mixed aerials. What is mixed aerials? And you won that with your boyfriend. So tell us about the excitement.
He's asleep. I'm like probably waking him up right now, but.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
Awesome.
That is so cool.
She takes it everywhere.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we have a couple events here that I'll show it off for, but mixed team aerials is kind of interesting because aerials has been just an individual sport for so long, and then they added a mixed gender team event. So there's 3 athletes on the team. You just have one guy and one girl, and so then it was like me and my boyfriend, and we had one other teammate, Chris Lillis, and I've been good friends with him for a decade. I've known him since he was 7.
Wow.
And so every athlete gets one jump, and you add the scores together and compete against other countries.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a rush. And I think, I'm really excited that I got to participate in the team event, because, I think winning by yourself is incredible because it's like your own feat, but like winning with the team is so much fun. It's super cool.
Yeah. That's so neat.
What was it like going up on the podium with your teammates?
I mean, incredible. I mean, I've been working, I've been after a medal at the Olympics for so long, and to do it with other people was really cool. And just so much relief and pride to be amongst that team.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so Olympics are over. You come home. What's the first thing Ashley does? Do you like get settled and then you want to go have a Whataburger, or what is it that you go like? I don't know. Do you know what Whataburger is? We have that in Texas.
Yeah. My dad lives in Texas. My license. Okay. So the first thing, when we walked through the terminal, like when we got to baggage claim, all of my family and friends were all there with like signs and stuff. So first thing I did was start crying.
Yeah.
I was just like, we also went through a 36-hour travel day from China. And I just think I was like so emotionally tired and like physically tired. And I just started bawling.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we got our 6 bags that we checked and we threw them in the car and we went out to a restaurant and got a huge cheeseburger and a beer. And it was wonderful.
Good old American food.
It was time for some calories.
Yeah, I definitely lost some weight when we were in China. So
Really?
I think I've successfully put it all back on. But
beer and cheeseburgers will do that for you.
Yeah.
Well, when she trains as hard as she does.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah, but, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say my biggest goal was to go on a surf trip, and I have not done that yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's still awaiting me.
Yeah. Sounds like you're still on the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm still have some team competition obligations. So.
Yeah, good. That's good.
Okay, so there was a heartwarming moment in the Olympics where you congratulated. I'm going to mess up her name. Was it Zhu Megtao?
Zhu Megtao, and so we call her Tao Tao.
Tao Tao. Okay, that's easier for me because I have trouble with English. So.
Yeah.
So there was a moment where she won, and there was that moment where the cameras see you congratulating her, and it just kind of showed the sportsmanship I think everyone in that event has. So what was that moment like for you?
Yeah, totally didn't abide by the COVID protocols in that hug for sure.
Yeah.
But in the moment for sure. So I've known Tao Tao as long as I've been doing aerials, and she's just like has such a good attitude out there. And her and I have both been doing triples for a long time together and sharing a lot of those like trials and tribulations of doing those higher level tricks, for a decade now. Mm-hmm. And for me, like in our sport, like it's so scary and challenging. So I think that's why there's so much sportsmanship amongst the athletes, is because we all are scared and have been through a lot. It's not the same as like just a pure competent, like it's not, you will get hurt if you do something wrong. And so I think that builds a stronger bond amongst the athletes and respect. And so, I'm never cheering against someone because I know how hard it is. And I also don't want anyone to get hurt. And so we have a lot of sportsmanship amongst everyone. That's not to say that people think I cheer for everyone, maybe a little too much sometimes. But I think maybe it's my age or something, but like when someone does well, I just am happy regardless of where they're from. And while emotionally, I definitely, after that moment, like when I like walked away, like 10 minutes later, I was like, oh my gosh, I just lost. That sucks. But in the moment, I was like, wow, like she's an incredible athlete, and like she's worked just as hard as I have, and she definitely deserves it. And like, this is awesome. And yeah, I was happy for the other 2 girls too, especially Meg and Nick, my other teammate. And the Olympics is just much bigger than in any individual person. And so I was just happy for those girls to do well.
Yeah, it is. It's much bigger than just like that one single event. It's so cool to have all the stories make up such a big part of it. That's so neat. So what keeps you like stoked doing, like for our son, who's the adventurist in Colorado? I mean, he just lives for that dopamine high, that like kick. That ride, Is that what keeps you stoked? I mean, you just keep.
That's definitely got to be part of it. Yeah, I definitely love what I do. There's definitely times that I don't feel that awesome about it. I'm super cold and I've crashed a bunch, and that sounds miserable. And we go to some countries that are also extremely miserable. But I won't name them. You could probably guess.
Yeah.
But
there's one that comes to mind right now.
There's probably a few. But I don't know. It's like there's a lot of like my friends keep me in it. The love for it's probably the dopamine. It's probably just a drug. I like proving to myself what I can do and what I'm capable of and what I can overcome. It's very rewarding, a rewarding feeling for sure. And just my friends around the world are, keep me in it. And like that, the understanding of what I'm going through, it's like, this sport's really fun for myself, but if I don't have anyone to share it with, like, is it even cool?
Yeah. And there's this small group of common bond people that you share that with, it's around the world, like just the people that we're walked with you in the opening ceremonies. Like that's a forever small group,
Yep.
in comparison. So that's really cool. Okay. So what do you tell little girls? Like a little girl wants to be an Olympian. She comes up to you. Hey, I saw you in the Olympics. I want to be you one day. What's your advice?
I'm like, heck yeah. Yeah. Typically I go like, don't let anyone tell you can't do it. No boys, no adults, like just freaking send it. And dream bigger than you think, for sure. A lot of people never thought I would ever do that trick the daddy, and that proved them wrong. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I also tell little boys that too. Like, hey, like you push yourself and you push everyone around you equally, like we're all in this together. And trying to inspire people to be their best and not really think too much about the stereotypes or the labels that everyone kind of builds up around us.
Yeah. So what's next for you? Like, do you see yourself ever being a trainer of this? Like,
yeah, I definitely think, I love the sport. I definitely need some time off where I'm not as cold for a couple years for sure, but I'll probably come back. I like coaching. It's pretty fun. But yeah, it's definitely a hard task to be a coach.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question on the coaching. So the coach stands like off to the side while you're up in the air. Can you really hear them when they're yelling things to you?
Oh, wow.
To move your body?
Yeah. Loud and clear. It's
really,
I think it's because they're right under us, so we hear exactly what they're saying. But they complete a full sentence, and I would know exactly what they said, and I could tell you.
You're probably in tune to their voice too. I mean, you've probably heard them and their instructions.
But they're like yelling at us, so I think the way the voice travels, it like goes straight to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy. Well, we're totally inspired. I can't believe that you do those things. I was like, let me see a couple of videos of what this is crazy. And as a parent, it makes my heart a little anxious, but
I'm going to go jump in a pool, but without skis on.
Yeah.
That's how inspired I am.
That's what she wants to do.
I mean, come out to Park City and we'll put some skis on. I taught my dad a backflip over the summer, like 63.
Oh, yeah.
He'd never done one before. So
okay. The challenge is on now.
We're going to Park City.
That's it.
For our 30th
challenge
anniversary,
accepted.
We're going to Park City to do backflips.
Hey, I can do it.
I can still do a backflip off of a diving board. I don't know about you.
You're going to do it. It's going to be cake.
Okay, we need to set this up.
Ashley, we thank you so much for getting on with us this morning. We know you have obligations and bringing the gold to show us. That was so sweet. And we just thank you for your time, and we just congratulate you. Go Team USA.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks, Ashley.
Okay, have you switched to aerials now? You still on speed skating?
Well, after we've got to go up to Utah because she invited us up to train.
Yeah.
So once I get the feel for it, I might switch to aerials.
Yeah.
I'm still speed skating right now, but she's got me enticed.
Okay. As she was talking about that, I was thinking, this is what she said. I want you to listen. Backflip was the first thing, right?
Yeah.
On skis. You realize that means you have to go down some kind of fake slope backwards.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think you would be up there and then you do the backflip. We should have talked to her about that.
That's a gainer.
Oh, that's a gainer. Oh yeah, you see them go up backwards.
I know, they turn around.
I have only gone backwards on skis accidentally.
Yeah, same.
So I have to learn how to do that.
For sure. So that was just fascinating. It was so cool to see the gold medal, and it was so great.
I had no idea that was coming. I'm like, whoa, that's the gold medal.
Yeah, I mean, so cool for her also to come in the middle of, like, she's in the middle of another competition.
Yeah, she's in New York competing and woke up and took the time. That's awesome of her.
That was so great.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys learned a lot as much as we did, and deciding what event you're going to compete in, because, we want to know what that is. What would you choose? I don't know. For me, I'm not going to aerials. I'm totally staying with half pipe.
You're not even going to consider it after your training with Ashley?
If I was younger and not a dizzy person, but honestly, you're going to be dizzy in snowboard too. And hitting the ledge of that half pipe looks real painful. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Either way, I'm looking for a face plant probably. But we hope you enjoyed this interview, because it was one of our favorites. I mean, it was just really cool learning all the ins and outs of being an Olympian, and also peep the gold medal. So enjoy the rest of your day. Hardy party of 5 1/2. Over and out.
We'll see you next time.